What the? Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome to my channel, and today I'm having a look at somebody named Drake Selfino, who is saying that there's apparently fake Xbox outrage over the PlayStation 5. He's got some interesting views, so we're going to go through them point by point and see what we can see. Right, so let's get on to the first point.
Today I want to talk about the fake outrage the Xbox fanboys use to trash talk the PlayStation 5, which will be the only viable next generation console.
Right, so according to him, the next generation is only going to be PlayStation 5. Not entirely sure why, but let's see.
One of their recent talking points is that PlayStation games are moving over to PC now. They spin this further by saying that PlayStation has no games now and that they would much rather play PlayStation games on PC.
PlayStation games are going to PC. Yes, this is true. 100%. They are going to PC. And does it kill the PlayStation? No, because if you don't have a PC to play these games on, you're still going to play them on PlayStation. So yeah, it doesn't really make a difference. Do they play better on PC? Yes, they do. Just purely, well, depending on your machine. If you got a high-end machine, it is going to play real good. If you got a crappy machine, it's going to play like a console. But yeah, so they are moving. No disagreement there. They definitely are moving there.
These are dangerous health truths because there's the whole picture. PlayStation announced that they will bring games like Horizon Zero Dawn and other games to PC. And this means that PlayStation gamers can't be sure that PlayStation games will stay exclusive to their platform from here on out.
Yeah, so there will be, like, I mean, if they bring new games onto PlayStation and then they also at the same time put onto PC, yeah, they wouldn't be exclusive, but unless you have a PC, you wouldn't still buy them on PlayStation. So you wouldn't be able to get them on Xbox. So I don't see what the point of that is, because yeah, if you've got a PC, you'll play it on PC rather than on PlayStation. You just get a better experience.
So that's true to this point, but here's the thing that Xbox don't understand. PlayStation isn't doing this like Xbox does it. Xbox puts all their games on PC day and date. There is no exclusivity whatsoever. They will even put some of these games like Ori, Cuphead and Super Lucky's Tale on Nintendo Switch.
Yes, the Xbox will have games on PC as well as Xbox at the launch. Because Microsoft is Windows, Windows has PCs, PCs generate money, and people on PCs buy games. This is why they do this sort of thing. They port it over to Nintendo Switch as well, because the people on the Switches will buy the games. That is what the problem is with exclusive games, is they're on one console and you're forced to buy the hardware to play a game that should be playable on any platform. And if you prefer to use a PlayStation or an Xbox, fair enough, buy the console.
PlayStation, on the other hand, keeps its games exclusive for at least 1 year. And I don't mind if a couple of PlayStation games move to PC 5 or 6 years after they launched on PlayStation.
Right, I don't understand why it would be an issue if they were always available on PC all the time. I mean, if you want to play it on PlayStation, you can play it on PlayStation. It's not taking, the fact that it's going to PC doesn't change the fact that you can still play it on PlayStation. So I don't understand what the issue is with, I mean, why wait for 5 to 6 years? Put them across. It's not going to change your experience at all. It'll just give more people the chance to play the game.
All Sony does is lure PC guys into buying next-gen PlayStation games on PlayStation consoles.
I don't think PlayStation lures PC gamers onto their ecosystem by letting them buy PlayStation games on PC. If they own a PlayStation, they own a PlayStation. Some people just don't want to have all the consoles. And I mean, with the Xbox, you get the best of, like, all round. I mean, PlayStation has exclusives. Yes, Xbox doesn't really anymore. It all goes onto PC as well. But there aren't that many exclusives.
Look at this. Yeah, They put Horizon Zero Dawn on PC, but you know which game is now talked about? The new Horizon game on PlayStation 5. This way Sony shows the PC crowd how great these games are, giving them incentives to buy the next generation console. That's a clever business move.
Right, so if this was the case, then they would have done it ages ago. Like if they were doing this mastermind system of selling you Horizon Zero Dawn on PC so that you would then automatically think, oh my god, I need to buy a PlayStation because I can play it on PlayStation before PC. If people are going to buy the PlayStation, they're going to buy the PlayStation. It is not going to be down to the fact that one game came over that they really like, and that makes them buy a bunch of machines that they don't really need if they don't need them. People will buy what they play on.
Cater a bunch of AAA games to your consumers and give some of them over to the PC crowd 5 or 6 years later down the line, when PlayStation fans will be moving to an entirely new platform anyway.
So the games are released 5 to 6 years after the launch, and that's not a problem because the PlayStation people are going onto a new ecosystem. That would only be relevant if you were saying things like, oh yeah, well, PlayStation's not going to do backwards compatibility. Everybody on PlayStation 4 is going to move on to PlayStation 5, and then they will just continue. So I'm hoping PlayStation will actually take backwards compatibility seriously this time around, because it is always nice to have that you can actually get older games, because nobody's played every single game in the world. It's not possible. Maybe for some people, I guess. Maybe some guy that's played like literally every game that's ever come out. But the idea is new games come out very seldom. New games come out all the time. Good new games come out very seldomly. So you'd always have the option of going backwards and saying, well, I haven't played that game and I've seen a couple of reviews and people say it's good, we can play that game, backwards compatibility, boom. I hope PlayStation does do that properly this time around.
Because there is a new PlayStation out there. It just makes sense, and it doesn't devalue the games like Xbox does with their day and date and Game Pass strategy.
How does moving a game directly onto PC devalue it? I just see, to me, that's more opportunity to sell the game. And the Game Pass, yes, it is. Obviously, there's a bunch of games in there, but for the customers, it is a very good value to just pay that little fee every month and you get access to all these games. I don't understand how them going straight to desktop as well as Xbox devalues a game. I don't get where he's coming from that, but I don't believe that's the case.
Moving on, there's another fake outrage that I have to tackle. And that's something that happened after the Halo Infinite delay. Look, many people said that the Halo Infinite delay is bad for the Xbox Series X, since that means that the console will launch with no major first-party games. Xbox twisted this and said that it's not that bad because Sony also delayed games like Uncharted 4, and nobody complained about that when Sony did it.
Microsoft delayed Halo Infinite. To be fair, I used to enjoy the Halo franchise. I don't anymore. It's nowhere near. I'm hoping this new one will be better. Luckily enough, I have Game Pass, so I don't have to pay for the game in full to play it and see if I enjoy it or not. Upside to Game Pass. You can actually test games if you don't want to buy them. But yeah, so they did delay it. It did need work. It wasn't looking the way it should. It wasn't as impressive as it should have been. So I don't disagree with the fact that they should have delayed it. It's not, that's a no-brainer. Don't release a game that is crap, because then you just end up with a game that is crap, like Anthem.
What they are saying is that you can't criticize Xbox because PlayStation also tends to delay some games, or that PlayStation should also be criticized here. The problem with all of that logic is that Xbox completely missed the mark when it comes to this. because nobody has a problem with games getting delayed. Everyone wants the games to be polished and great. The delay is great for Halo, the game definitely needed a delay and some work. All that gamers are saying is that the delay is bad for the Xbox Series X because this means that the console will launch with no games. The PlayStation 5 will not have that problem. The PlayStation 5 will launch with Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Ratchet & Clank, and possibly Demon's Souls in the launch window. That's a fact. And in
So yeah, he did say yes, he agreed. Halo needed work. Is it gonna affect the sales of Xbox? I don't think so, because if you were on Xbox original and you were then moved on to 360 and then you moved on to Xbox One, you are sure as shit gonna buy an Xbox Series X or Series S, because you've already purchased so many games digitally that you can just download them on the new console and they work, unlike the PlayStation infrastructure where there's limited backwards compatibility. I mean, they didn't need a backup. Like, I mean, they should have maybe had something, I guess, but in his own words, the games aren't exclusive anyway. They come out on PC straight away, so it would have launched with no exclusives if it did come out at the same time anyway.
between, we will also get Cyberpunk and some other bangers. The problem is not that the game got delayed, but the problem is that there is no backup plan and no launch lineup when it comes to the Xbox Series X.
Right, so on launch, yes, no exclusives, and apparently they're going to get Cyberpunk 2077 and some other bangers, which I'm assuming are third-party games, which will all be available on the Xbox console as well as PC. So I don't think that's really a good argument point. But yes, they did obviously start off with a couple of exclusive games. Does that sell a console? If you play those games, I guess yes. If not, then no.
One last point though, Xbots say that the PlayStation 5 is underpowered and that SSDs don't matter. Meanwhile, we already saw gameplay of at least 12 games running on PlayStation 5 hardware. These games look great, while Xbox games look unfinished with terrible pop-in. The Xbox isn't able to load games fast enough, which could be addressed by having a powerful SSD like Sony has. But these clowns keep downplaying PlayStation 5 SSD while hyping up Velocity architecture, which they probably don't even know what that is. Get out of here and never talk about teraflops, power of the cloud, Azure servers, machine learning, and all of that other nonsense ever again. The PlayStation 5 is a complete beast and will be the downfall of the Xbox brand, and I mean the entire brand. This will be Xbox's last console.
And there we go. So that is the last couple of arguments. So SSDs. Both consoles have SSDs. Expansion. Both of them can expand. And yeah, there's different ways of doing it. So the Xbox has got like what the old style PlayStation memory card sort of style plug-in SSD that you can get, which I don't agree with. I don't think that's great because yeah, they can keep that price the same all the time. PlayStation opted for a port where you can put an M.2 drive in it, and yeah, so that also comes with its own kind of problem. So if you don't know how to install that correctly, yeah, you'd have to get that done professionally, or if you slightly tech savvy, you can probably work it out. It's not too hard, but yeah. So, and then they also said that the PlayStation 5 will be the killer of the Xbox. I very much doubt that at all. I mean, Microsoft is not going to turn around and say, oh my god, PlayStation has a faster SSD than us, so we are just going to can this shit that we've been doing and building for over these years. We just like no more, we can't do it. No, not at all. And I mean, when it comes to the consoles, the side of Microsoft now is they've gone out and have bought all these studios, Bethesda being one of them. I don't think they've actually finished the deal yet, but they are planning on buying them, and I hope they don't do this, but if they turn all those games exclusive, in inverted commas, because obviously it's going to PC as well, so not technically exclusive to Xbox, but if those games don't come out on PlayStation, I can guarantee you everybody on PlayStation will be crying like hell because they won't get the new Elder Scrolls, they won't get any more Dunes, and they won't get, well, Fallout. But I mean, Fallout 76 was a pretty bad game. But yeah, so they would lose all of those games. And I don't think Microsoft should do that. Will they do that? More than likely they will, because they've spent all this money on studios. And I'm pretty sure they wouldn't spend all that money and then say, you know what, we've spent all this money, let's just let PlayStation use these as well. It's going to be a case of, we spent this money to make exclusive games. They might not start straight away, but they will definitely have these studios making exclusive games for the Xbox and PC only, and the PlayStation wouldn't get them. I don't agree with that. I don't think that's fair. They should just, like, all games should be across all platforms, and then you choose your platform. Don't worry about what everybody else has. I mean, crossplay is now a thing, so it doesn't really matter what you have online. But if you want a PlayStation, get a PlayStation. If you want an Xbox, get an Xbox. Is the Xbox more powerful? Stats-wise, yes. That'll only be seen later on in the console generations, as the developers actually get time to squeeze out every ounce of power they can from these consoles and see what games look like. Everybody going on about how great Miles Morales looks, and Valhalla. I don't play Assassin's Creed, it's like a terrible game. I've played the first one, never again. And so they're saying how these games look so great. Wait for a couple of years. I mean, it was, all the consoles have always been the first games. Everybody's like, oh my god, this is amazing, it's so great. But the actual game developers haven't had time to squeeze out and learn the infrastructure of all these systems to get everything running smoothly. So once that's done, the games are going to look way better, they're going to run better, and then at the end of it you'll be able to see the difference between, I mean, if you get two third-party games, you'd be able to basically see today how well Assassin's Creed Valhalla runs on the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox. I can't imagine there's too much difference in the two on how they look, and you'd be able to see how they're running. But the thing is, none of these developers have had that much time to optimize their way of currently building games for consoles, for these new consoles. So you'll only see the updates and games coming further down the line. But yeah, that's all from me. This is not meant as slander against this dude. I mean, it's just something I came across, and I don't agree with people fighting over consoles or PC. There's no such thing, or PC master race, console peasants, all that. I don't believe in that. I play on PC mostly. I do have to buy the PlayStation, unfortunately, because I do like playing God of War. So I have to spend £500 to play one game. That's why I don't like exclusives. So if they could all just come out on PC, that would be great, because I have a PC. I do play PC games, and if I need to play them on a PlayStation, I do usually get the PlayStation. I won't get the Xbox, because obviously they're available on PC. Great, I don't have to buy another piece of kit to play these games on my PC. That's why we want PlayStation games on PC, so that we don't have to buy a console to play on PC. I hope that helped. If it didn't, sorry. If it did, great. So yeah, if you liked the video, please drop a like. If you want to, you can subscribe. This is my very first video. It's probably going to get copyrighted, but yeah, good fun making this. Cheers, catch you later, bye.